So this is, I guess, this if this happens to become true, I guess there's a lot of applications for it in the future. And when we look at the different industries that 3D printing or new manufacturing techniques, that additive manufacturing techniques are being applied to, we ourselves, we think about manufacturing and also like a bit more out there stuff like food. For you, why is it really exciting to you to focus on these things? Why does it make your heart smile when you can solve these problems?
So it's always now as an engineer, when you design a part with conventional machining, you're always worried about the limitation because of manufacturing. It's not design limitation. It's really just where the cutting edge is going to come from, so that you're able to make a part that you're trying to design. So if you're trying to drill a hole in the wall, you need to access a wall. The drill needs to be close to the wall so that you can drill the hole. But with 3D printing, you can make very, very complicated shapes, some of which are impossible to machine, right? Just simply impossible. But beyond that, it's also, you can have very complicated shapes that would have been very, very expensive with conventional machining, but would be just completely possible and reasonable to do with 3D printing, because you're adding layers. So it doesn't really matter how complicated the design is. Right. And as an engineer, I feel like this is everybody's dream in terms of engineering, that I just want to imagine something and I want to be able to make it. I don't want to be sort of chained or restrained by the manufacturing limitation. And I think this is sort of the promise of 3D printing. But right now, the bigger problem is that even if I can make whatever I can dream of in terms of design, I cannot use it because right now the material doesn't exist where you're able to make something that's usable. So think about, again, my background is in aerospace, so I think about airplanes quite a bit. But let's say you make very energy efficient design, or aerodynamically efficient design, whatever, that would consume less fuel and be lighter and all these things. And the only reason you cannot make it is because the material is weak. So you can 3D print it. You probably cannot manufacture it conventionally because it's too complicated. But if I can 3D print it, I can see it, I can test it in a wind tunnel, but it would break apart in 2 weeks. This is a big problem. So if I'm able to eliminate this, or at least mitigate this problem, I'll feel much better.
Can you extend again on the different properties that 3D printed materials might have? For instance, an airplane, it might be lighter, you can save some weight. What are like the exciting properties that you see where really, apart from the idea of rapid prototyping and making things faster and being able to, as you said, do all the things that you imagine to do, what are really the main properties where you see, okay, it has big advantages in comparison to traditional materials?
I think when we talk about making things lighter, right? So, okay, with stereolithography, because you're not using metal, it's naturally going to be lighter. But in terms of making things lighter by design, so think of a hollow sphere, right? It's lighter than if you have a full sphere, right? Because the core is gone. And this is sort of the kind of things that you're almost able to make with 3D printing, where you can sort of hollow out certain parts as long as you have the right properties. That way, by design, you're making what you 3D print lighter. And I think this is exciting for me as somebody who wants to fight the climate crisis and lower our energy dependence and efficiency. Because then if you can make parts lighter, then you don't need as much fuel to fly them, right? And that also makes it a bit even more possible when we talk about electrifying like airplanes. So you don't have to burn fuel. You can use electricity and you can use batteries. If you can lower how much energy you need, you're a bit closer. And just, yeah, so I think it just in terms of efficiency, I think this is what excites me. But there are quite a few different properties that I think excite different people as well. But at the end of the day, it really depends on the materials that you're going to end up developing, because right now existing material, you're very limited by them. So it's hard to speak about material properties now because I don't know what exactly are the materials that's going to actually meet or is going to allow 3D printing to be used in functional applications beyond what's being used right now.